Hi, my name is Patrick and this is Prep Mindful, your daily video practice in mindful test prep, coming at you today with a pair of ACT English questions. Now these were questions 5 and 6 from ACT 59F. Right there, pause it, pause the video, take a crack at these questions yourself, and then when you're done, you can unpause the video and watch the explanation. All right, let's get in there. We'll start it. About 3.5 million people a day ride the subways. I think maybe I might possibly have met them all. All right, so we're going to start with number 5. About 3.5 million people a day ride the subways. I think maybe I might possibly have met them all. So right now in A, there's no punctuation, which ordinarily would be the answer choice that we would lean towards, right? Whenever possible, if the shortest answer choice works, that's correct. And if the answer choice with the least punctuation works, then that's correct, right? So there has to be a concrete reason why A is wrong. In fact, in this case, there is. You could think about it this way. About 3.5 million people a day ride the subways. Could that be a complete sentence? Yep. And a phrase like that could be a complete sentence is called an independent clause. Now let's look at what comes next. I think maybe I might possibly have met them all. Well, that could also be a complete sentence. But there's nothing between them. It just goes complete sentence into complete sentence with no punctuation or connecting words or anything. You can't do that. It's called a run-on sentence. So the answer is not A. Let's go on. At B, we have ride the subways, comma, and I think maybe I might possibly have met them all. All right. Well, that's more like it. When you have two independent clauses back to back, there are a few different ways to separate them. The first and most obvious is a period, because then it's just two different sentences. The second one is a semicolon, which is grammatically identical to a period, but perhaps there's some reason why you want these two independent clauses to be in the same sentence. The third way is a comma and then one of the FANBOYS. FANBOYS are the coordinating conjunctions. They are for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. And those are words which, when joined with a comma, can connect two independent clauses. So B checks out on that front. Very cool. We'll keep it around. Let's go to C. About 3.5 million people a day ride the subways, which I think maybe I might possibly have met them all. Well, that's confusing. What did the which refer to? The subways? The subways, which I think maybe I might possibly have met them all. That sort of broke down at the end, right? So we can eliminate C. Not sure what the which was referring to. And then we'll try D. About 3.5 million people a day ride the subways. Actually, I think I might possibly have met them all. Well, that adds the word actually, but it doesn't fix the problem that we had in answer choice A. So D doesn't work, and the answer must be B. All right, let's boost along to number 6. I think maybe I might possibly have met them all. Okay, well, before, right, we said that whenever possible, we should check the shortest answer first. So that would be J in this case. Let's see how it sounds. I think maybe I've met them all. Well, that sounds fine. So the answer is J. But let's go through the other answer choices and see if there's not a little more knowledge that we can extract from this question. I think maybe I might possibly have met them all. You have maybe, might, and possibly, all in the same sentence. It's a little redundant, right? Because each of those words means basically the same thing, and yet we have all three of them in the same sentence. So F is wrong because it uses too many words to express the idea. But here's something to think about. Most questions on the ACT English are only really asking about one error type. So when one answer choice is so obviously redundant, like F was, then you want to look at the other answer choices thinking, is there some redundancy happening here as well? So let's look at G. I think maybe, perhaps, I've met them all. Maybe, perhaps. Well, those mean the same thing, right? So that's also redundant. It's not as obvious as it was in F, but it's still redundant. And then at H, I think maybe I've possibly met them all. Well, again, maybe and possibly, they mean the same thing. Another thing to think about is this. Look at G and H. I think maybe, perhaps I've met them all. I think maybe I've possibly met them all. Those are like really similar, right? It would be pretty difficult to choose between those two and say that one is better. When you're in the English section and you find yourself having to make what feels like an impossible decision between two answer choices that seem equally correct, chances are neither of them is correct, and there's something else happening in the sentence. Very nicely done, putting aside a few minutes to take a significant step towards something you'd like to accomplish. It's nothing to sneeze at. I'll be back here tomorrow. If you enjoyed this video and found it helpful, why not subscribe to our channel? My name is Patrick, and this has been Prep Mindful.